not really sure, but they're looking at the teams.
Yeah.
They took
Champions League.
Those that forever compete in the
Champions League, yeah.
Because they are the teams, the Sonalabo Pirates, they're in the Champions League this year. In the next 4 years, they're not in the Champions League, they're in the Champions League.
Okay,
they don't get far. So maybe they looked at how far
the consistency,
just like the European one, because the European one selected the Bona, whereas they selected teams, and Bona they selected on prestige more than anything else. So I think even this ones, this Champions League, this Super League, I think in a that because now unalina TP Mazembe in the Sokola playing in Africa, they were not doing as great as they used to do. There's a few teams that were giants in the African Champions League, but they are struggling now. You understand? So I think that's why Sundowns, because for the last 6 or 8 years, they've been there. They've been in the knockout stages. I think that's what they looked at. It makes sense for me to look at
who's competing,
who gets out, who gets into the knockout stages more.
Okay, so now would then PSL clubs trying to stop Sundowns from competing there? Is it because there's no way into the Super League unless maybe you win the Champions League
and winning the Champions League once? I don't think you still qualify to get into that.
So
the criteria. So now I think they are blocking it because
the criteria is not clear. Or is it clear?
If the criteria is clear, but now is the selection criteria for them is not fair. Because now it's gonna take longer for other teams to get into the Super League. Again, is the financial gains that Sundowns stands
going to have,
gain. The other one happening, it's going to disrupt the league fixture. Because now, those games
have to be postponed.
Certain games have to be postponed.
Yeah.
And when you are fighting for relegation, now you have to play that game like Maritzburg, Kanako is at the end of the season. So now it creates that thing. Okay, Sundowns is left with. Now, if I'm participating in this one, I have to weigh which one.
Yeah, shouldn't the clubs be like, okay, let them compete there. We compete now in the league because they might not take the league as serious.
Now, for me, that is the benefit. But now, Sundowns is already 10 points clear of the second position. Even if they play a second string squad, you don't expect that second string squad to give away that 10 points. You understand? And
otherwise,
you don't expect these ones following to win every game anyways.
Exactly, because they still have to beat each other themselves.
They still have to beat each other themselves. So, already it looks. So, because Motsepe is there, now it looks like Sundowns is favored. You understand? Because Motsepe is there. Had this came before Motsepe's time, I think it would have made more sense to PSL to
Is it now? But now, isn't this now also going to threaten cannibalizing the Champions League? Because now again, maybe the Champions League might not be taken as seriously because Super League gives us.
But Super League is before December done. You still left with the Champions League. Before December done.
So if you're part of these teams that are playing in the Super League,
during December,
you have Super League, you have Champions League, you have domestic leagues and cups,
and you have the AFCON in January as well. If you are in Africa,
generally the leagues break.
But
during that time.
But
so you're looking at
imagine a player that has played Super League.
Imagine
a player that's played Champions League, players play in the league, all these cups. The pre-season that Sundowns went on a pre-season tournament to Netherlands. They were involved village team in the Netherlands. Now imagine by the time the league ends, by the Champions League final, So you need a pool of like 60 players for you to participate in all of this.
Do you need 60 players or do you need 30 quality players?
30 quality players won't be enough to play everything.
That's 3 teams.
Yes. Hopefully in those 3 teams, you can't just play 11 for 90 minutes. Those 3 teams, that 11 must have another 5 that's accompanying them.
Yeah.
And there might be injuries in those 3 teams. Now, and in those 3 teams, obviously there's going to be a stronger team. So now I think a pool, I think this team, Sundowns, has enough players in terms of participating in all these tournaments. My problem felt like my beloved coach that will play his favorites over. I'm sure Mvala is going to play I'm sure Mvala look at Jimmy first 11. I'm sure Mvala will play all those tournaments.
So at Chelsea, they are having a problem with, or they were having a problem with before they got rid of all the players they got rid of. Last season they were having with Graham Potter. They were having a problem with having to now create a makeshift second changing room to fit all the players, and they were just about 34 players, right, in total. They in Europe, if you're an elite team, you play on average about 60 games. So that's your 4 domestic leagues, Champions League, and then European Super Cup, and then maybe a Club Champions.
Right?
Plus minus 60 games. They complain that 30 players is too much. You say to compete in those 6 tournaments, you need, or a club would need
50 plus players.
50 plus players.
To really compete. Let me not say to compete, to win them all.
Pep Guardiola's Barcelona won everything. That one season where they won everything. With Yaya Toure and some of those guys. They swept all the domestic leagues, the European Super League, the Club Champions. They won everything.
With more than 30 players.
How many players? Okay, I know we don't know, and I know this is only coming up now. But how many players do you think they used in all those 6
you see, that's all
competitions?
Okay, let's look at it this way. We don't know the exact number.
Right.
They're Messi, they're Suarez, and Neymar in front.
No, that was before Suarez. This was that David Villa, Pedro, Messi, Iniesta,
but
Zlatan,
Banalebo, Alexis,
yes.
Banalebo. Now, just the striking force, they are plus minus 8 strikers.
Right.
And 8 quality strikers. You understand? 8 quality strikers. Now, 8 quality strikers, they won't play. Even if you play 4-3-3, then you're going to struggle to play them all, but they hate those players.
Right.
But now, if you use them in different tournaments, if you use them, like Naki Shukiri, there are players that hardly kick a ball at Sundowns. And they are not injury, it's not because of injuries, it's not because of
suspension.
Now, give those players the league. Let them start in the league and use permanent players as subs. As subs. Then compete for this 78 million and this $4 million and this $1 million
I have a sense,
Excuse the price. Now PSL doesn't become a priority anymore.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Is it not going to assist your beloved coach later on when things aren't going too well, and then he's going to say, but we've got too many games? Because I mean, this thing of
say I get too much money.
Right, you understand this thing of too many games. I mean, it's a thing not only in South Africa. I mean, even in Europe, it's a thing. You know, it's too many games. Coaches complain about international games. these friendly tournaments and all of that. I get it. We are human. We need to rest, right? But if you are a team that competes in all the competitions that are available, right? Mm-hmm. Your mandate, you're an elite team. You are Real Madrid. You are Liverpool. You are Man United. You are Bayern Munich. You are expected to win, right? Now, the coach, you as the manager, coach, or technical team, you know we are Bayern Munich. We are likely to play 60 games this season, right? So how do we develop or create a team that will be able to compete in all 60 games? Because we are expected to win every game. Yes, we won't win every game, but that's the expectation. If we lose, we must lose with our blood on the floor, if we have to lose. So is it a case of getting 50 plus players or saying to your sporting director and his recruitment team, give me 33 A and B, talking about academic grades, A and B players, right? My A players will be my starting 11 or my starting 18. My B players will be my second team and my third team, because I'm competing in 6 tournaments. And I need, if I'm playing in a Champions League final, I must be able to trust any one of these other 2. Let's say it's a striker. I've got 3 strikers. I've got 3 of everything in my team. If this striker in a Champions League does not give me something in the first 20 minutes, I must be able to trust that my second striker can do the same thing. Right?
But remember, your second striker, let's say you have a striker for the Super League. That striker.
No, let's say you have your first 11, your first 11.
Your first 10.
Your best, let's say your best 11, your second 11, your third 11. Your best 11 is the one that you trust when you want to win.
Yeah. Now,
right?
let's say Champions League. Let's say Super League. There is like 6 games for that.
Right.
So you can't bank on your best striker to play 6 games a season. You understand? So meaning you have to use that guy in the Champions League as well.
Yes, and in the domestic leagues and cups.
And in the domestic leagues and cups.
Depending on who you play with.
But now, creating different tiers of different levels. So, okay, this is my first team, this is the second team, and this is the third team. It creates complacency. It means that if I'm in the top team, even at training, because this is what Rulani complains about. This is what I've been telling you guys. Rulani says he looks at the effort that you are putting in at training and your previous performance.
Right.
He combines that and makes the first 11. That's why I'm surprised every weekend when I see Bomudiba playing. Every weekend you ask yourself, okay, maybe this guy kisses the coach's ass during the week. Maybe
so couldn't you use,
maybe he's coaches.
Couldn't you use this tier system to challenge your 33 players to say, okay, we've got, take a Man City, the number 10 rule, for example, the first one in the lineup, Kevin De Bruyne. The next one, Foden or Bernardo, depending on how Pep feels on that day. But there's a clear hierarchy, right? Yeah. But it doesn't mean to say that the guy who is in the best 11 is necessarily guaranteed. It's up to these other 2 guys to push him. It's the same way as you could say with the goalkeepers. It's up to them to push their teammates to keep playing at that level. Otherwise, if you drop, I'm coming in, my nigga, and I'm going. You know what I mean?
Now I think it will depend on the coach that is there. I think if Mulifinzeki was presented with the same problem, he wouldn't necessarily do what Rulan is doing. I think if Gavin Hunt was faced with the same problem, he wouldn't. His strategy wouldn't be the same as this one. Yeah. I understand. So not tricky, Bona. I think you need a big pool of players for you, because now what happens? even at Sundowns, you know Zwane is there.
But he's captain.
No, the keeper is captain. Most games keeper can abang captain. Akira Zwane, he becomes captain. He's the key team captain. Zwane.
Yeah.
Correct, like, it's example Maguire. Maguire is a team captain at Man United.
Right.
He's not an on-field captain. So on-field captain, man, for Rowan Williams. Name by fire, Nazwan. So because kitty captains are team, depending on how the
playing,
depending, because if Zwan is out, you understand. And because of his role on Bafana Bafana, it makes sense. Or he's captain Bafana Bafana and he's captain at his club. You understand? So Kintoki Chungi, Jolokai or Sundowns, you know, on the left or on the right, you are going up front, you are going to find Zwan. Regardless, as long as it's an important game, you know that guy is going to be there. Then he's trying to rope in Boma, Mababa Bona, Bailebo so Rino benching. Now, what Nantuki Bona, I think it's alright to keep everybody guessing. Okay, who's going to play? It's alright to keep everybody guessing. As long as you do it on performance base and
but aren't you also trying to achieve a certain level of consistency with your team?
Yes.
So if
that means
if you keep us guessing as I don't know if I'm going to play next week, you know, sometimes some players could argue that they like to know that they're in the game. Like I remember Roger Disa spoke about one of the I can't remember which one of the goalkeepers, and both of them were competing for the number one spot, right? And then what he did was he made the one who was likely to be the number one. He gave him the first 5 games, and then he went to the second one. He went to him and said, "I'm going to give you the second 5 games to give you a chance to prove that you're either better than your number one or you know, whatever the case may be." After that second 5 games, this keeper who was supposedly going to be number 2 performed so well in those 5 games, he actually continued playing. And I think that season he was player of the season for that team. I think it was, I don't remember if it was Wits that Roger Disa was coaching it. I don't remember. So it's that kind of thing where you are encouraging your players to knock on the door. Your biggest headache as a manager should be, as you say, who do I play? But it must be based on the quality that you see during the training sessions and obviously in retrospect of the previous games.
I think the best example you could use with that is the Brazil national team.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's such a big deal when you get picked for Brazil? It's a big deal because you know
there's a pool.
There's a pool of players, yeah.
You literally have to be the best player for that position to be picked. There's no, okay, now of course I think any sport, right, there's favorites and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yeah.
For example, like how many times with England, we draw with England, how many right backs they have?
Yeah.
How many going to play?
How Maguire is playing without playing in his team.
Yeah.
You have Trent, you've got Trippier, you've got Walker.
Yeah.
Those are, some people say, one of the 3 best right backs in the world, like in the top 10, some people say.
Yeah.
Now that's in one country. Now imagine as a coach, you're like, okay, I'm playing this game, who do I play? But I've actually got on paper 3 very good players, or 5 or 6, whatever the pool is, who's actually the best. And then as a player, if you want to play, the only way you know you're going to play is, okay, again,
Pick up your socks, yeah.
Pick up your socks. Why do you think Brazil, Daniel Alves was the right back for
so long?
Almost 10 years.
Because there was nobody. He was putting in that high level performance.
Now you see, this brings me back to the problem that I have with my coach. Or if that's been the model, that has been the model in football for a very long time. That the very best get picked first. Now we look at games like Wabana suggestion area, you play Roger Desai, Abuangayana, you play the first. What if the first 5 games don't go your way? Because the first 5 games you are playing okay, keeper A, this is my best keeper, then I'm going to and you have 5 losses. In the end the keeper maybe was man of the match 4 times in that first 5 games. Now, do you still swap this keeper and put in that second string keeper? No, you understand? It now changes. It now changes your strategy. Goalkeeper Celtics, that guy that was apparently 30 something, but his children made him a 49th birthday on that Celtic coach, man. That Celtic keeper.
The one who wore that.
Yeah, the one that wore that.
Oh, the rugby thing like Petr Cech. Yes.
That guy, even a training.
Yeah.
Even a training. Whatever training, BP.
Yes.
You know, when that guy, as long as he's not injured, he wants to play. But because he was the number 1 and he was better than the next. This thing of giving other people a chance. Not Onyango. I'm just forgetting his name. Man, the argument was, what if that guy has a good game? Benny McCarthy to leave Ajax. Benny McCarthy. Why we struggled with Benny McCarthy coming this side is South Africa would call Benny Kadi game Zenyani.
Oh yes.
South Africa would call Benny Swaziland.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't go Benny McCarthy was
rising up.
He was on an upward trajectory. This guy he's going places. By the Bamida nobodies. Yeah. Mind you, your bonus, Bafana Bafana, wait all after.
To the tsunami people.
Yeah. So, other meters on heart at the side. Kanago, the league was not synchronized like international.
Oh, yes.
We're not. We had our own calendar
Europe.
So one meter. Kada Ronald playing one meter Celestine Baba. You guys know him exactly.
Yeah.
He used to score and Ashapema brick fall for Nigeria.
Yeah.
Benny McCarthy used to bench that guy at Ajax. He came this side, Benny McCarthy, to play football. That guy scored a hat-trick that side. When Benny McCarthy went that side, you can't put Benny McCarthy when somebody else.
He's just scored a hat-trick, yeah.
That guy continued scoring.
Yeah.
Benny McCarthy ended up on the bench. Benny McCarthy went to Celta Vigo.
Yeah.
Because now he couldn't break into the team anymore.
Well, I mean, but then I think that's the point of sports.
But this is what I'm saying, Mori. If a player is playing well at that time, if a player is playing well, play him.
Keep him, yeah.
Play him.
Yeah.
If don't give others. Oh, you are opening a gap for this one. Because now, if this guy takes that opportunity, now what happens to this one?
See, but that's not a bad thing, I think, because it is a difference. If you're like, for example, a cup game and you've played, sometimes European clubs have got that week where there's a mid-game week, there's Champions League or Europa League, and then
there's a weekend game, yeah.
And then maybe League Cup next week or the next week, and then you give like to rest physically. Play other younger guys or whatever, second team, whatever, cool. And then you find out that this one guy in the second team, he played like everybody showed the guy can play. Let me give him a chance.
A classic example is Isak and Wilson at Newcastle.
The way Eddie Howe off every game almost.
I don't think
Isak will start, Wilson will come on, Wilson will start, Isak will come on.
I honestly, when he first started doing it, I didn't think he knew who was his best number 9 between the two, right? And they would both score. So he would start with Isak. Isak would score, he'd take him off 70th minute, whatever, puts in Wilson. Wilson scores. Next game, keeps on playing Isak. Isak makes an assist, takes him off 60th minute. Wilson goes in, Wilson scores. Third game, puts in Wilson first. Wilson scores. Takes out Wilson 70th minute, Isak comes in, Isak scores. So is it not these two guys making a headache for the manager to say, hey man, whether I'm on the bench, you take me on, you put me off, I'm scoring.
Yeah, but like, even with players, you used to be a player. You want to play most games.
Of course, you want to play every game. Yeah.
You want to start. So now it goes with which competition you are playing for. For Newcastle, in my own opinion, I think Isak gives you more than what Wilson will give you. Wilson is an English striker. He's that you get in the box, run hard.
Fight for the scraps, yeah.
But there's no football there. There's very little football that Wilson. Ivan Toney is even better than Wilson. In terms of comfortability, according to me, technicality.
Yeah.
Isak is much better than. But now, in that league, maybe body strength or the defenders dominate him more, so he has to get out of the box more for him to get involved.
Yeah.
So when Ronaldo Kenya pressure into the box, I'd rather play this one. So I think Moneki, it's tactical. It's a tactical decision more than Ore, who's the best player.
And then it's the coach's job to make sure the players understand.
So if you're a player, right? If you're a player, you know whether you're coming off the bench, whether you're starting, you're gonna score. I mean, I used to have a coach that actually got me to understand your impact as an attacking player coming off the bench. He told me, if you're an attacking player and you are coming off the bench, whether it's 5 minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, you will always have minimum one chance. And that's the chance you must take, right? And I was like, this nigga's talking smack, right? But then he started to do that with me. He started to put me on the bench. 70th minute puts me on. Me, I'm thinking, because I'm fresh, I'm quick. The defenders are slow now, they're tired. I'm just going to go in. So I'm thinking it's me, right? I'll go there, I score. Next game, on the bench again. Puts me on 70th minute. Go in there and score. Next game. Go in there. I have a chance, but I don't score. But there's this consistency that this guy's actually right. I'm actually getting a chance every time. And then I started to look at it broadly. Every time I go off and an attacking teammate comes in, I look, even with the opponent. And I realized, actually, this is right. If you're a striker or a winger, and you're coming off that's why Andries Sobula was so successful. That's why an Odigana Solskjaer was so successful. You know?
You'll always get that chance.
That one chance. The thing is that you must be able to use it, right?
And that's where the word where we come up with super sub.
Right, sure. So now, okay. You're the manager. You've made us both. You've explained to both of us that no, this is tactical. What. I want to play every game. He wants to play every game. I want to play in the Champions League semi-final. He wants to play in the Champions League semi-final. Only one of us can play. The coach will play whoever he trusts, right? He plays him. Champions League semi-final. He scores. We win the semi-final, first leg. Weekend, we play the league game. It's also a big game. He rests him. He plays me. I score. It's a big game, but it's not the Champions League one that I wanted to play. But I'm still playing it. Does that not make me as the player or us as the players who are competing with each other to have more of that, or that competition bring us closer together, or that bond together? Because now we are not only are we competing with the other teams and other clubs, but now we are competing with each other. Hey, if I play before you today, I'm going to score, and you know what I mean? It's like the 2002 World Cup with Ronaldo and Rivaldo. They were literally competing for the golden ball in that World Cup. But that was good because there were moments where Ronaldo or Rivaldo had the ball where he could score, but he left it for Ronaldo.
You see, but then now the beautiful thing is, think about it as a fan. That's some of the best football you've ever seen.
So
the whole team is competing with each other.
Correct, but now there's always a positive and a negative to that. The negative is that goalkeepers, now Aaron Ramsdale is on the bench because now, and he was told, no, everybody has a chance. Now all of a sudden, consistently he's on the bench.
No,
you know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah, but no, but that's one of the
But
examples.
I understand that you were saying that there are so many.
I'm gonna now wish for him not to play because now I want to play in the Champions League final. Training,
Ria, we cannot run away from the fact that it has a negative. It can go either way.
Either way, yeah.
You know, you cannot run away from
Yeah.
that. If it goes either way,
But
again, that's why there's a manager there to manage it.
Yeah.
But now what I'm saying, is, you need to obviously you need to prioritize in terms of revenue, in terms of what you bring in. If you are playing
But as a fan, I want you to win everything.
But for me, I would understand if Zwane and Shalulile don't play in a Black Label semi-final when there's a Champions League on the weekend. I will understand it.
Right.
I understand. Even if you get MDC players to play that, I will still appreciate it. I will still understand it.
And then the very same fan who's supposed the same team as you says no, but I want to win the cutting cup.
Yeah. Now I get it. The dynamics that you wanna in South Africa, most of our fans are back in the work club in terms of PSL.
Right.
You know, they know the English Premier League because it's forever on our throats.
Yes.
That's how they are. Some leagues, Real Madrid and Barcelona, maybe in Sevilla, La Europa. If you ask him any other team from Spain, they don't know. Ask Pirates fans which team did Pirates play against? Most of them don't know. They don't know the name of, because they don't, and they don't. It's not because they are ignorant. It's because of what's available to them. You understand? Most people watch games. It's like DSTV at pubs, at taverns, because they don't have
at home. Yeah.
At home, they don't have the channels at home. You understand?
Yeah.
But even if those that have channels at home, Ukatala Barcelona versus Real Madrid, Ukatala Kaizer Chiefs and Orlando Pirates and Orlando Pirates and Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because that's what he identifies with.
Yeah, it relates to him more.
You understand?
Yeah.
Even if he's superior than this one. But that's why I was telling you about Italians. Italians love Serie A. Whether Serie A is the best league in the world or not, but Italians understand Serie A because of what Serie A used to be. You understand? Serie A used to be the standard of football. I wonder what English league is now. Serie A used to be that. The highest paid players used to play in Serie A.
Yeah.
The best players used to play in Serie A. Serie A used to be that league. Now, they still...
The first Galacticos were seen in Serie A. International. You know? Yeah.
Now, in Italy, that chance. It's like ask Bafana Bafana. The reason why we are complaining this much is because we know the flight. Bafana Bafana Bill. Bafana Bafana used to be this team. If we had never won AFCON, we wouldn't be complaining as much now. Because we were not achieving anything.
So then what do you think about this AFCON?
Which AFCON?
The one that's coming
The draw.
What do I think about South African chances, or what do I think about the whole tournament?
Let's start with our group.
No, let's start with Group A.
Okay.
Start with Group A.
There we go. Ivory Coast, Equatorial Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria. Hey, you see what's the thing with these tournaments? Tournaments for me, I will always go to history, right? I will take a bit of the history and see
the
current and say and then look. Honestly, Equatorial Guinea and Guinea-Bissau haven't progressed enough for them to get out of that group.
How much have you seen of them? That's my other question.
I've seen qualifiers and that's it.
Yeah, but now I've not seen enough of them to make a shout. I know Ivory Coast like you are saying, you look at history, and now maybe I think now is that a soccer
Country. Okay.
More than anything else. You know, Norway could be good today, but for me, Norway is not a football nation. Iceland can compete, but for me, they are not a. Just only Denmark, they are a football country. Whether there's no other sports that Denmark thrives in than football. For me, yeah, they might have individuals that maybe motor sports, but football is. Well, I want England. They want to push football, but football is not their best sport.
No.
Cricket is.
Yeah.
So now when I look at this, even if Ivory Coast maybe is not doing that great now, because I'm thinking their development structures, there must be somebody that thinks Ivory Coast is a giant of Africa. They might be roping in young players that are technically better than by Equatorial. So for now, that's how I look at it. So here, obviously, I would go with Ivory Coast and Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nigeria mainly for their exports, or they export more players than anybody in Africa, and they compete, and their players are playing abroad. They are not like
on
South
the
African
bench.
players that go to MLS and go sit at the bench.
Hashtag Quentin Fortune.
Hey, when I still got that national coach team question coming up. Let's run quickly.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, like I said,
For you?
Ivory Coast and Nigeria will.
For me, Ivory Coast, Nigeria.
Yeah.
Equatorial Guinea will be best number 3.
Okay.
Group B.
Not Guinea-Bissau. Now I would go with Guinea-Bissau.
No, I think Equatorial Guinea.
Okay.
I think so.
Group B, Cape Verde, Egypt, Ghana, Mozambique. For me again, look, Cape Verde have okay. I don't know, I don't think they're a football country, but they've surprised me in how they've played, more especially in the way they play, not necessarily winning games or losing games. Just their understanding of the game, coming from the background, they're not a football country, like, okay. But I'd still put them. Shit, it's.
Above? You still put them above? Finish that sentence.
I'd put them up. I don't know if I'd put. Look, they would have to beat each other.
You have to make a decision.
I would have to watch them against each other. But
Yeah.
Cape Verde and Mozambique, for me, are third and fourth.
Respectively.
That's why I don't know whether. Mozambique, again, looking at history, they have more
Football
experience.
Nation. The football nation.
Yeah, and they
Mozambique,
have.
for me, is a football nation.
And they have more experience in these African tournaments. That's why it's touch and go for me, because maybe Cape Verde, playing wise, will give us a surprise. But yeah, but I don't see Ghana and Egypt letting go of number 1 and 2. I'd say number 1 would be Egypt, just based on, these Arab African teams. One thing that I've noticed about them is they're about hard work. They don't care whether they have a star or 2 stars. They will work hard. Ne? Yes, they don't always win. Yes, they're not the most attractive football. But just from a work rate, I'd say Egypt, then Ghana.
I would go with Egypt and Ghana.
What does sentiment say? Mozambique number 1.
In my heart, I think Mozambique will finish number 3. Because between Cape Verde and Mozambique, Cape Verde have shocked people more. Because Mozambique have not really been, historically have not been really good at AFCON.
And they've had tough draws.
Tough draws. And the last AFCON we were in was 2010, I think. Before around that time. 2009 or so. So I'll say Mozambique number 3. But it's going to finish 1 and 2. I'll be shocked if Egypt won't finish.
Now, if anything is going to happen in that group, that is besides Egypt and Ghana. It's either been Cape Verde playing 3 draws. You know, and upset maybe those teams, Cape Verde and Mozambique at best, a draw is winning the group or coming second. I don't see.
Yeah, I think I'd say Egypt, Ghana, and Mozambique. Top 3.
Okay, Cameroon, Gambia, Guinea, Senegal.
Come on.
What do you mean?
Senegal number 1, Cameroon number 2, next.
Yeah, I don't know Ghana number 1, number 2. I agree with both of them. I agree with both of them going through. Now, one thing I've learned about African countries, a draw is not far away from the result. Senegal might play 3 draws here. Yeah, when you're playing, African teams, they might play 3 draws. They are the strongest team on paper, but on the pitch, it becomes something else. Cameroon, they need to be home against home fans. But Cameroon and Senegal, if they don't get a win first game, obviously they will win. There are 2 games, unless they have to play against each other or something. So now there, I think Cameroon and Senegal, with Guinea becoming third.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guinea Conakry can play.
Yeah, Gambia, not that.
Group D, Algeria, Angola, Burkina Faso, Mauritania.
Now top number 3 and number 2 in that particular way.
Algeria, Burkina, Angola.
My man, Burkina Faso play football. Burkina Faso are a football country.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
What took Burkina Faso so long though to
I think politics. I think because we're not. But when I'm talking about Mozambique, I think it's also affected by politics. Zimbabwe, Zambia.
Yeah.
I think those countries, it's more politics. How shall I players are they have comfortable players.
Yeah.
I think politics. Sometimes you don't have money to go play and
resources, etc.
So for me, Algeria is our favorites, like you said, the Arabs. But not that European focus. Get the job done, no matter what. So for me, Algeria, Burkina Faso, Angola, Mauritania, in that particular way. But only this thing draw, like I'm saying, there's this draw thing in Africa. And they are not not. They are not. Yes.
I mean, you see in the PSL, I mean, the draws that we have in the PSL are more than often 0-0 draws.
Lately, it's at goal.
Yeah.
Lately, it's at goal. 1-1, 3-3. Lately, I'm not saying every game. Lately, you get 1-1, 3-3. Emoral weekend, only draws. Not 1-1, 3-3, 2-2. So,
why do you think? Not to digress. Okay, wait. Let's just finish. Yeah, let's finish. But I wanted to ask, why do you think our goal scoring record has not been broken yet? But yeah, we'll get to that one. Group E, Mali, Namibia, South Africa, Tunisia. I'd say Mali, Tunisia, Namibia, South Africa.
In that way?
Yes.
In that order?
In that order. I think we come fourth in that.
Namibia?
Nah.
I'm worried about that Shalulile team.
I don't think so.
Team, I struggle to see South Africa through. I want them to go through, but Mali has to have performed very bad, and Tunisia have to perform
very bad, yeah,
for South Africa to get through. Yeah.
Because for me,
especially with the players we have, we top this group. If we had a convincing coach, that's why I wanted to start with my comment coaching before we started with this group. But we'll get to that after this. For me, I see Tunisia again. That Arab side.
We're great.
They have Mali. It's between us and Mali. if Namibia does not spoil it for us, depending if we play Namibia first and we lose to Namibia, we are out.
Yeah.
If we play Namibia first and we lose to Namibia, we are out. But if you play Mali and Tunisia and we lose to one of them, there is a chance of us qualifying because we might draw against Mali and maybe win against Namibia. Then that's 4 points we might go through. But if the first game is against Namibia and we lose, or we get a draw, we might be out.
So this is very interesting, and this is a pattern with South African football. The tournament kicks off in Jan. We are already calculating. No, if we do this and this team does that, it's been a pattern since we became second in '98.
Okay.
Right?
We'll come to that because given the quarterfinal a 10-minute the South African coach.
Right.
We'll come to that. We're not done. What's your choice?
I say I actually don't think Tunisia is going to go through. I think it's going to be an upset in this group. I think Mali is going to finish 1, South Africa 2,
and we'll be the upset, right?
and then Tunisia 3. Yeah. I think we'll actually surprise this group. And I say this Tunisia because I have a funny feeling. I don't know if their current team is the strongest I've seen in a long time. Because I know Kazri, I don't know if he's even going to play because now he's old now. He's the captain, but you know.
Yeah, but now I think Tunisia has decent players.
No. It's not, I don't think they're bad. I'm not saying they're bad, but I just don't think it's not as good as.
Yeah.
So you are hoping that we cause an upset as South Africa.
Yeah, and Opola, this position, the third position, it's not playoffs. They look at goals and
goals and points. Okay.
Points. It starts with points, then goals, then how you played against each other, and rankings and all that. So there's only those groups.
Yeah, Group F: DR Congo, Morocco, Tanzania, Zambia.
I'm sorry, man. Morocco have to finish number 1. They are the best African country right now. They are. Do you have any objections?
No objection.
My man.
Continue
with your predictions, my man. Yeah, hey, this guy.
Don't intimidate us, boss.
Let's go.
Morocco number 1. And actually Zambia, I don't know, man. The Copper Kings, I don't know. DR Congo, they've never really been. I mean, they usually can go to quarterfinals usually, but I think they might win, but they're gonna have like 2
Put your head on the blocks, huh?
They're gonna have like 2 or 3 points back. So I think Morocco 1, Congo 2, Zambia 3, and Tanzania 4.
Damn. You?
I'd say Zambia 1, Morocco 2, Tanzania 3, DR Congo 4. Yeah.
Please, sir, we have to wrap up, but please just explain yourself a little bit here.
From a football point of view.
Why? Because you think of Kalusha Balwa, you think they're going to bring it up?
No, Kalusha Balwa is the FA president. He's not playing. But from a technical point of view, Zambia can beat any of those teams, if not all of them. That's what I think.
What do you think?
I think Morocco 1. I'm struggling to choose between Zambia and DR Congo. But my gut goes with Zambia. Then DR Congo 3rd. But it could swap between the two. But no mistake, Morocco 1 any day for me. So we'd like you guys, the fans, to also.
Oh yeah. Please give us your picks, your predictions for the groups. Please indulge us with the coach.
Yes, your South African national coach. If Rulani was giving me a headache, this one.
This one is a migraine.
Hi. You know, I like this guy because he shoots off the cuff. He does not. For me, he's your industry guy. You know, I don't want to use the other term, but for me, he's this nigga, you can't come. This guy, you can't come to training and give 70% and think that it's gonna pass by and he's not gonna notice or he's not gonna snitch on you. You know. But for me, this guy, if he thinks whatever that he's doing very well, because he's criticizing South African clubs for not collaborating, SAFA, and like there's that relationship between PSL and SAFA that has broken down.
Yeah.
So some of the things that he says, he's honest about them. But I think this guy is agitating even the players themselves, because some of these players, you can see that he has a good relationship with his coach. Now, clearly, if that guy criticizes Sundowns, obviously Mvala will side with
his coach,
with his
Premier
Premier League coach, because he understands this one, the longevity is not there. He might be there this week. One understand, but Nandwiki Bonam, he's upsetting a whole lot of people. Well, if rightfully so or wrongfully so, the jury's still out on that one. If he thinks this performance is now, even the wins that he was getting, if he thinks that is the South African standard, somebody must whisper to him and tell him, we are not 30% close to what we think South African soccer players are.
But isn't what these coaches that come from outside always do? They make us feel shitty about our football, shitty about ourselves. Yeah, there's, clubs, they don't collaborate. Players are not fit. This, that.
But if you look at the record in Africa, it's better than African coaches.
Yeah, so now my question is that aren't we ourselves allowing this pattern of managers or coaches coming in to coach a national team and always complaining about we are not this, we are not that, you know what I mean? Instead of actually trying to say, okay, let's close it off. Let's create the Great Wall of SAFA or South African football and say, let's fix this from within. Let's without yes, the external information that we've been getting is, I guess, gives us some insight in terms of where we are going wrong. Physical conditioning of players at club level, things like that. Yes, so we do accept that, but we need to solve these things internally with ourselves, so that when we do hire a coach from outside, the things that they must complain about must not be, you guys are not good enough. It must be something else.
This one is digging in his heels. This one is...
Because he's going to go.
He's creating... So now I think this guy, the way he looks at it is, it's either I do it or I don't. And during the process, I'm going to say what I want to say.
Because either way,
I'm
not invested.
Either way, there's nothing. There's no investment
100%
for him.
Yeah, except for the money.
And for me, that is the problem, where the problem starts. For this guy, even if we qualify for the World Cup, it
won't mean anything to him.
It doesn't mean anything. All it says to him, it says he's a successful coach. He's gone to a club he's gone to a country
that was not
struggles
successful
qualifying, and he's made them qualify. For me, I don't identify. What would you say his style of play?
I have no idea, bro.
This guy has coached other African countries before. I'm not even aware what country he was coaching. He was talking about Cameroon. I think he was coaching Cameroon.
Oh, yes.
And Cameroon has fallen off.
Yeah.
Cameroon has
and it's not like their football was tantalizing.
Yeah, before Kanababa Patrick
Mboma,
Jeremy they were not skillful. They were just tactically aware. And powerful, strong. They could run. But under Broos,
give us your thoughts. Comments. Yeah, but the audio is on still. I still see us moving there. So they must give us their thoughts. Comment. If you want to come join, comment as much as you can. You might be seated here.
Yes.
If you're a member or resident of Black Brick, come through. Don't just look outside the window. Please come through, ask questions, engage. This is a show for fans by fans.
Yes.
You understand? So let's make a thing of it. Let's make a thing of it. Cool. Rap. It's a rap.
Yeah.